everybody. Happy Wednesday. I said that the same way on Twitter. This will be the last video that I do for 2020, and it's going to be about updates on what I'm up to, just one update, and then I will finally reveal and tell you what the last Mystery Unsolved video will be. And hopefully I won't ramble like I did over on Twitter, because that was, yeah. First things first. Update. The Wax Menagerie is almost complete. I just have one chapter to go. I'm probably going to start it tonight, and I'll probably finish tonight. Hopefully. It's going to be a short chapter, but then again, I figured I've packed enough into this from chapters 1 to 12 that 13 and 14 I'm just going to kind of be shooting the breeze, you know. So chapter 14 is called, what is it called? The Last Judgment. And hopefully I will start it tonight and complete it tonight. If not, then definitely tomorrow, because I want to finish this book before the new year begins. So, yeah, that's always great. Looking forward to finishing the book. I'm not all sad because, you know, I still have to revise it and add stuff and get rid of stuff and all that good jazz. And all that jazz, well, however the saying goes. Also, I uploaded the Wax Menagerie book trailer yesterday. It's over on my channel, the PlasmaticWriterTV, over on YouTube. If you head on over to PlasmaticWriterTV, on YouTube you can see the Wax Menagerie book trailer that I completed all on my phone. Yeah, did it all on my phone. It was definitely a process, but nothing I couldn't handle. But yeah, so it's definitely been a very interesting journey writing the book, but it's almost complete, and the book trailer's up, and please do head on over to YouTube and give it a like, or I suppose you can stay here and watch it on my profile. That's the first video I've ever uploaded on, the first video that I've ever kept on my profile, because obviously these upload on my profile, but I never keep them on there, because, you know why. But yeah, so, with the updates out of the way, I reveal now the last Mystery Unsolved video for 2020. It's not really a mystery at all. The O.J. Simpson trial, in case. That's right, I'm taking you back to 1994. It was a simpler time. I wouldn't know, I was 9, but a lot simpler than we're living in now, 2020, which is almost over. But yeah, so the O.J. Simpson case. If you don't remember it when it was around, you probably know it now, because 25 years later, we're still talking about it. It's still a thing. People are still fascinated by it. You know, it's just one of many things, you know. And it was either this or the John Benet Ramsey case, and I was just like, you know what? O.J., in my opinion, is just way better to talk about, because it's kind of one of those things, like, you know where you were when it happened. And if you weren't alive when it happened, you still know where you were when you heard about it. So, I don't even have notes in front of me. Why bother? It's the end of the year. Do I really need notes on this? Probably not. I don't need dates. Dates aren't important either. All you need to know is the year. It was 1994. Music was pretty cool, pretty popular. It was going pretty well. And then all of a sudden, former NFL star, Hall of Fame running back O.J. Simpson pops up on your television screen in a white Bronco driving down the highway, being chased by a bunch of police officers because he supposedly killed his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson. I say supposedly because, well, you know, it's still a Mystery Unsolved video, so I gotta... So, we all know what happened next, right? Supposedly he was in the car with his buddy. He said he didn't kill her, he didn't do it, he pleads not guilty, and what ensues is the most ridiculous, I'm going to use the same words and terminology that I did on Twitter, ridiculous and circus trial in the history of the world. At no point, before or after this trial, did they ever have a person who was on trial for murder try on evidence. If I'm wrong, please, Matt, I'm dead serious about this. If you watch this on the playback, what I'm saying, in the history of the United States or the world, in the history of the world, of people being on trial, have they ever had the person try on evidence? Like a glove or a scarf or a hat. Have they ever tried having the person convicted of whatever it is they did try on evidence? I've never heard it. I didn't hear anything about it before 1994. I've never heard of it after 1994. Only O.J. Simpson, to my knowledge, is the only person on the face of the earth that they've ever actually had try on evidence. And it's like, oh, it doesn't fit. You know, the infamous, if it does not fit, you must acquit. It's people like, oh, it's so genius. It's genius, but it's retarded at the same time. It really is. Like, when in the history of the world have you ever had a convicted possible murderer try on evidence? It's asinine. It's genius, but at the same time, it's like, wait, what just happened? That always got me. And then, of course, there's the other thing that always baffled my mind. If OJ didn't do it, which I'll get to in a minute, just work with me here. Use your imagination. OJ didn't kill his wife. Someone got away with murder. And the one thing that's always bothered me is there's never been any other suspect. But Justin, he did it. There was no need to look into anybody else. Really? Really? Listen, most times when I do these videos, I always have several theories for you as to what happened. I always have several suspects as to who done it. Yes, I'm using who done it. We're in the 40s now. But in this instance, there was never any other person ever that, to my knowledge, for the longest time, might I add, because I'm going to actually change this up, and I'm rambling again, but it's okay, because we're really going to get into this. The last one of the year. Work with me here. But basically, they were like, oh, OJ killed his wife. There's no need to look at anybody else. Isn't there? Isn't that protocol? Doesn't the law state you have to at least look into somebody else? Nobody's name, to my knowledge, ever came up. I mean, Kato Kalin's name came up, but he was the roommate staying in OJ's pool house. But, like, it wasn't him. But that always got me. There was never any other person suspected. Until 2020, when BuzzFeed Unsolved looked into it, and the name, I believe it was Justin Simpson. I might be wrong. OJ has a son, or another son. He has a son. That son had problems. He had issues with Nicole Brown Simpson, and supposedly, maybe, he was a possible suspect. And I said to myself, holy shit, this is the first time that I've ever been alive that I knew about the O.J. Simpson case where I actually, oh my god, there was another suspect. Because for as long as anybody has heard about the O.J. Simpson case, it was just always O.J. So when I watch BuzzFeed Unsolved, they're like, oh, it might have been O.J.'s son. My mind was blown. Like, for the first time ever, there was a possible other suspect. And there's motive and intent there because, you know, apparently he didn't get along with Nicole. And he was troubled. And his alibi was a little sketchy, but I imagine it might have added up because obviously they accused OJ. But I was just blown away by the fact, like, wow, for the first time in 25 years since this case happened, another person's name was connected to the crime. Now, getting back to the good old case itself, media went nuts about this. It was a circus. The other thing was the infamous, I said this over on Twitter, the infamous white Bronco police... Exactly. I was mentioning that earlier. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. The other thing was the white Bronco police chase scene. That actually had the highest ratings of like anything. Like when they stopped shows, they cut to that, and that was like the highest day in pizza sales for Domino's that day. No joke. Google that. That's an actual thing, which is kind of hard to believe. Like of all the sports, they had a ton of sports games, but the O.J. Simpson trial has one of the highest pizza sales in delivery that day. But back to the case itself. The other thing that always bothered me was, like they had this trial, and again, I can't recall prior to 1994 if there was ever a case where people actually looked forward to watching a guy convicted of murder on their television screen. Probably didn't happen. Hasn't happened before, hasn't happened since. The other thing, what a circus that trial was. Again, I was 9 at the time, but I know enough about it now to where I can just be like, wow, that case was nuts. Also, they, of course, a couple years ago had the People versus O.J. Simpson, which was a series on FX. And again, between real and fictional, like, it all depicts as real. And the baffling thing is the prosecution botched that. I'm not saying O.J. deserved to get away with murder, but the way that the prosecution botched that, he kind of did. Like, again, I'm not condoning murder by any means, no. But I'm saying, like, the crazy circus that was that trial. I mean, there were points in that case they had him on a silver platter, dead to rights, whichever cliche terminology you want to use. And as quick as they had him on the silver platter, they retracted it to come up with some ridiculous idea or theory, and they shot themselves in the foot. They would come up with this great evidence. I'm using great very loosely here. They'd come up with evidence, and then they would go in a completely other direction, and then the defense for OJ would come up with a ridiculous thing like the whole glove thing, and it's insane. And it's like, oh, I can't believe he got away with murder. Like, I can't believe they found him not guilty. They found him not guilty because the prosecution just literally botched the idea. They just botched the whole case. And their evidence it was so, I just can't. 25 years later, and people, sometimes, every once in a while, OJ comes up in conversation. I'm sure, just like friends all do. And, you get some people that are like, oh, wow, I can't believe that, you think that he, like, at one point in my life, I didn't think he did it. I'll be totally honest with you. I was young, naive, I didn't know. I have respect for OJ as a Hall of Fame running back, playing football, and I know what he did was wrong. But, like, and I don't condone murder, but, like, Jesus Christ, like, you watch the shitty circus trial that was. He kind of deserved to get away with, whatever, you know what I'm saying. It was just one of those crazy things. And that's why I saved this for last, because I knew it would generate a lot of interest. Like, oh, I remember where I was. And again, even if you weren't born, you heard about it, you knew where you were. So yeah, in close, the O.J. Simpson case will probably live on in infamy for another 20 years, if not longer. And I guess the better question now is, well, there's no suspects, there's no theories for me to give you, because you already know. It's one of those open shut deals. But finally, will I be doing Mysteries Unsolved videos next year? You're damn right. I'm sure I'll probably still be watching BuzzFeed Unsolved, and that's kind of what inspired this whole series. So I'll definitely be doing a lot more. I'll be giving you updates. I'll be giving you new cases. Well, not new cases to talk about, the old cases. And funny thing is, I actually been watching Unsolved Mysteries a lot lately. And as a kid, that show scared the living shit out of me. Not even gonna lie. Between Robert Stack's voice, some of the fact that the cases were unsolved, and the creepy music. It's, I don't know. But now I'm doing my own little mysteries unsolved. I just reverse the names. But yeah, maybe I'll even, you know what? Maybe I'll even do some cases next year in my Robert Stack voice. If that got me even 5 people to watch this live, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm gonna do it. There's gonna be some. Mark this down. At some point, one of the cases next year, I will do it in my Robert Stack voice. So until then, I hope everybody has a good new year, and goodbye to 2020, and I will see you next year.